So before we begin, I would like to say that sorry ma'am kay I was supposedly making a first visual aids, but as you can see mabaliktad man na siya, and I have no other persons that can make that will handle ay magkubot sa akong cellphone ma'am then mag video. So I was the only one who is making a video about this discussion. So proceed na ta. So good afternoon. Today I would like to discuss to you about the value added tax, which is the VAT. And under the VAT is there are two components, which is the input tax and output tax. And the third is, and lastly is the percentage tax. So if we proceed of what is VAT, what is input tax, what is output tax, and percentage tax. Ato sa siyang kung ano asa siya gikan. So value added tax is one of the source income of BIR, because BIR has 7 internal revenue taxes, which are first one is the income tax, the second one is the value added tax, which we're going to tackle, and the third one is the percentage tax that we will also discuss about today, and the fourth one is the documentary stamp tax and the state tax, the excise tax, and donors tax. So let's talk about the VAT, or value added tax. So before we proceed to the meaning, let us has a history about VAT. So it started during I think 1997, and the tax code during that time is actually 10%. After that, in February 1, 2006, the VAT rate is increased to 2%. So it is already 12%. And until today, 12% triggered siya. Wala siya na change. Because during sa train law sa 2018, wala na change ang ang na change ra is the threshold. And when we talk about threshold, I will just explain it during sa percentage tax. So that has two parts, the input tax and the value added tax. But before that, let's talk about VAT. So VAT, or value added tax, is a tax on a value added to the purchase price or cost in the sale or lease, like goods, properties, or services in the course of trade or business. So that is VAT. And VAT has, like what I said, it has two parts, the input tax and the output tax, which are the two components of the value added tax. So input tax is actually nagsulat jud ko ma'am, but like what I said, dili daay siya makuan, sorry jud kayo, dili daay siya ma-post this one. I was making this one, yes, dili daay siya ma-post. So it's okay, this one. So input tax is the value added from or paid by a VAT registered person in the course of his trade or business. So in short, it is a VAT you pay on purchases. So pananglitan, ako, I tend to buy in a store. So ila kung kuan og VAT, like for example, if kaban palit ka sa ay mo palit kag valizer or prints, you can see on receipts na adito input VAT nga i-minus nimo, which is 12%. It is like what I said, it is a VAT that you pay in purchase. So meaning it comes from your expenses. And then under these input tax are the creditable input tax, which is under the section 104. So nagkayakat na ni dire. Creditable input tax is any input tax evidenced by a VAT invoice or official receipt shall be creditable against the output tax. Input tax that can be directly attributed. So, this creditable input tax is under the section of 104, which is the tax credits. Tax credits. I think it's A. So, some of these is importations of goods like for sale or use as supplies in your business like that. So panita na kay supply sa imong business mo na sila credit input tax. The second one is the transitional input tax. So transitional input tax is a person becomes liable to VAT or elects to be VAT registered person shall be allowed input tax of 2% of the value of inventory or the actual VAT paid, whichever is higher. So, kani sila, mo ni sila actually agatong those who are registered as a VAT. So, tawag sila registered VAT persons. And they are subject to filing and inventories. So sila mo yung magkuan. Ako na lang jud siyang gibasa ma'am kay di man mabali-bali man jud siya inikuan. So sorry jud kaayo ma'am. Please make a consideration to this ma'am kay. So the third one is the presumptive input tax. So presumptive input tax, they are actually the persons who engage in the processing of like mga manufacturers. There, the meaning of presumptive input tax is the 4% of the gross value in money of purchases of primary agriculture products which are used as inputs to their production. So, like what I said, manufacturers of sardines, mackerel and milk, refined sugar or cooking oil. So, they are the persons na maoy na under sa presumptive input tax. They are the one who are allowed in presumptive input tax, which is 4%. So, the last one is, since we already tackled about the sections of the under the input tax, let's proceed to the example. So, like what I said, input tax is you pay on purchase. So, para gyapon gisulat an example, ma'am. Pero maura man jud gyapon ni ano jud ko ani ma'am. This will make too long because shortage of time, char. Na shortness of time kay it's only one day, my god. Kay kini mga so input VAT example, nipalit ko Jollibee burger tulo ka 3 pieces, then ang ako ang excess is balagbali na siya ma'am 240. So mag-less kog 12% kay di ba ang value added tax, I forgot to mention that 12% ang may ikuan mo i-times nimo sa nga imong na purchase. So 12% less na siya VAT. So 240 pesos ang amount sa akong gipalit nga 3 pieces of Jollibee Chicken Joy. 240 times 12% is equal to 28.8. Mauna siya input tax nga ang akong gibayaran dito sa Jollibee. Ako mo nagbayad. Then awa, cost if ug pila siya if wala siya input tax is 240 is actually 211.2. Or anta na siya o wala tay input tax nga bayran. Pero kay dapat man ta magbayad, so proceed na ta. And the second topic is about the output tax. So output tax is actually mo na siya murag tax kay input man, so output opposite sa output tax. So, means that the value-added tax due on the sale or lease or property or services by a VAT registered person. So panangitan ako registered person ko. Dayon na ako gibaligya. Makukuha ko nila og value-added tax, which is 12%. Nakasabot ay 12%. So, it is the VAT you actually, it comes from the revenue. And you add a VAT you add on sales under of the output tax. So, like what I say, it is the opposite of the input tax. It is input tax comes from the expenses, while output tax comes from the expenses. And output tax is a VAT you pay if you have a sale lease. So under the output tax, under these are the excess output tax. Actually, excess output tax or excess input tax is na siya. So pero under siya sa section 104B. So, like creditable input tax, section 104 gyapon siya pero A. Excess output tax is if at the end of the any taxable quarter, the output tax exceeds the input tax, the excess shall be paid by the VAT registered person. So, in short, if output tax is more than input tax, ang magbayad ay tax, the one who will pay the VAT is the person who is actually registered. Pero if valid exceeds kaysa sa output tax, pwede na siya bayaran sa next quarter na po. That's what excess output tax means. Following is the zero rated sales. Actually, zero rated sales is an output tax who are basically foreign consumptions, an export sales or equivalent of foreign consumption and sales confirmed with an export sale treatment by special laws and international agreements to which the Philippines is a signatory. So, zero rated sales is pwede po ka nga gano'n na pa may zero rated sales nga na may exempted sales, but they are actually different. Zero rated sales, they are the subject to VAT, but zero rated sales naa siya yung VAT pero zero rated sales di siya exempted rate sales nga wala jud siya, dili jud siya ni makapidon, wala gid siya VAT. But zero rated sales is actually a VAT na siya. The benefit is zero rated sale is you going to have as VAT which is zero. So obviously ito kaya na and deductible na siya sa input VAT kay wala man kay ang imong output VAT is zero rated man. So in short, the taxpayer can fully recover the VAT he paid. Maka-recover siya kay zero rated man siya. So under the output tax they are only I have an example of output tax. So output tax is like what I said, it is opposite to input tax. So we have a sales commission. So nga ng sales commission, pananlitan ako, di ba, makuha. So naadyo ko dapat kuan makuha. Naadyo ko madawat dapat. So actually, if ang sales commission is 11,200, then less to 12% VAT. 11,200 times 12% is actually 1,344. I-minus mo na siya. Sale if no VAT is actually 9,856. Am I right? Yeah, 9,856. Ano siya? Just like the input tax. But the difference is, ako mo'y nakakuha og output tax. Sa input tax, ako mo'y gikuhaan og tax. Diba? So, examples to siya. Nganong kuan man siya, dapat man siya pangitaon ang value added tax of input. Value added tax, sorry. Ang output tax o input tax. Because to get the VAT payable. See? Output VAT less input VAT is equals to VAT payable. So input VAT is 1,344 according to our second example. The second and the input VAT is 211.2 according to our first example, and the VAT payable is 1,132.8. This is the purpose of the output VAT and the input VAT. Identify also the VAT payable. So let's proceed to the next topic, which is the percentage tax, which is 7 internal sources of income of BIR. So nga nang gitawag siya percentage tax. Siya value added tax. So the difference is that, like what I said during the train law in 2018, wala na nag-change. There's no changes in the tax rate of the value added. There's no changes in the tax rate. It's already in 12%. There's no increase or decrease, and we can't really guarantee that dili na siya mo dugang or something, because pwede na nila dungagan or something. So, but during in train law in 2018, back to the topic, the only changes is the threshold. What I mean is that the amount of the threshold is that if, for example lang may, ang akong gibasehan una kay 500,000, dayon wala ka ni exceeds sa 500,000, less ra ka sa 500,000, or actually you are in 500,000 gross profit or some gross receipts or something. So therefore you are not that you are subject to percentage tax, because you didn't exceeds the minimum amount of the given amount of the given percentage tax, which is the 500,000. So muna siya, if dili ka mo exceeds ana nga certain amount nga ilang that they wanted sa ilaang law, dili pug kamo sa sa gross profit nimo or gross receipts, dili pud kanila subject to value added tax. So percentage tax, let's move on, is a business tax imposed on persons, entities, or transactions specified under sections 116 to 127 of the National Internal Revenue Code, which is the NICR. So actually, percentage tax is section 116, but they are other percentage taxes that gikan siya to into section 127. So let's pick one of the but before that, percentage tax is a persons who are not also VAT registered. In short, analitan, di siya VAT registered person jud. Kay wala man siya nakamit sa kinahanglan pod sa kuan, under naman siya sa percentage tax. So dili sila non-VAT registered persons. They are the persons who has an actual or projected sales not more than 3 million. So, like what I said, during the train law, it was changed into 3 million. So, dana pa pod. Hangtod karon murag wala pa man nag-change. Dagway, I think 3 million ra gihapon until 2020. I don't know to so on and so forth. So, let's proceed under the other percentage taxes, under the sections of other percentage taxes. So, the sunod sa section 117, which is the percentage tax on domestic carriers and keepers of garage. So, may ilan education now. So, this is cars for rent or hire driven by the lessee, transportation constructors, including persons who transport passengers for hire. So, they are actually ilang percent ra nga makuha is only 3% of percentage tax applied to domestic carriers. It's only 3%. And other than that is they applies to receipts of operators of cars per rent or hire. The other percentage taxes under the sections of, I think this is the sections of 1 to 5. Section under 1 to 5, amusement tax. So amusement tax, it's actually on recreational activity or the amusement part. So it is imposed to the general admission charges to recreational and entertainment events. Tax may imposed on the admission charge or owner's total admission receipts. So actually, lahi yung percents sa makuha. Like what I said, it depends on what kind of activities or what kind of business you are into ang imong percent. So amusement tax is under the section of 125, and this is subject to 30% tax rate. But it depends. 8% panitin it sa cockpits sa mga sabungan. They are 18%. Siya unsang klase sa amusement place, amusement park, or recreational activities ang imong buhaton, ang imong percent. It is under the law of the amusement tax, section 125. The last one is the tax on winnings, section 126. This is section 126, the tax on winnings. Tax on winnings, mailan ra kayo? Prizes, such as prizes sa imong mga nadagan. Prizes and winnings from sources within the Philippines, but within the Philippines is actually a 20% rate. If the amusement park is 30%, the agan is 20%. Under the section 117, which is the carriers and the keepers of garage, is only 3%. This one is 20%. However, prices amounting to less shall be declared as part of the income subject to the schedular tax rates. So if imong madagan is under 10,000, subject na to siya, income ra to siya nimo, dili to siya considered as prices, and dito na siya sa scheduled tax rates nimo hapap. So The last one is the example of percentage tax. So actually, during my research, dani ra jud ko nakasabot. Jud og maayo. Dahil ni mao dahil ni siya. Look at that. Gross sales, gross receipts. Examples of, we have a given of gross sales, which is the one, and the gross receipts is 500,000. From practice, 500,000. I-add nimo siya, total gross is, mo siya total gross or receipts, that 2 million. And you are going to multiply it by 3%. The annual percentage tax will be 60,000. And that's all. Thank you. And before that, I would like to have a message for my teacher or professor. And sorry ma'am if na wala ko wala ko nakabalo nga dili ni siya ma English. So that's why you really imo jud gi-suggest nga naay mag-video na mga line person, but because of makatabang, that's why. And thank you for giving us another chance, even though wala na mo na ang required na grades, imga pa may additionalan o requirement for us to, hopefully dili na jud ni maayon si ani ma'am kay kinahanglan jud ang grado sa business tax for enrolling. And sorry for giving you another headaches. Thank you.